Hello everyone, my name is Amin Sainab and today I'm going to teach you SAT math, specifically the algebra section. I've been teaching SAT for the past 5 months and within this time period I taught over 80 students SAT math. Today's topic will be linear equations and in general XY planes. So let's just start our lesson and I hope you will enjoy it. Let me zoom in and we can start. We, because we will talk about linear equations, let me just write linear equations. Now, this is called an xy plane. As you can see, we have x in here, and at the same time, we have y in here. Now, we can call this x-axis. It's a second name for this, and for y, we can say y-axis. Now, x-axis, it refers to the left part and to the right part. Basically, the x value determines the left side and the right side. Great. What about the y-axis? Y-axis, it refers to up and down. So, if we're calculating anything that is considered or that touches height, we will be using y. Now, besides this, if you can look at the squares, we have a lot of squares, right? What are these squares even for? Let me pick up, for example, this dot right here. It actually has its own coordinate. A coordinate, what is it? It's basically we open parentheses and we write x comma y. X is our left or right value and y is our up or down value. So in this case, I will go to the bottom part, to the x-axis part, and as I can see, it falls to 3. Great. That means that the value of x will equal to 3. And if I go to the left, I can see I'm going towards the y-axis. So the value of y, it will equal to 3 also. So this will be 3 and 3. This is my x and this is my y. I hope you understood it up until now. We can take any other coordinate. For example, let's take this coordinate. I will go to the x part first. So I have to go to here. So x is -5. And let me go to the y-axis part. It will be -4. Great. And if I want to write this, obviously I would write it -5, comma, -4. Let me clear this a little bit so that I can explain you other things too. Now, if you look at the image, it is as if it's divided into 4 squares. As you can see, like this is the first square, this is the second square, third, and fourth. Now, they have their names. They're called quadrants. This is the first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and this is the fourth quadrant. You don't have to focus on this too much. I will explain lines and you will see why I'm showing you this. Basically, like this is 4 squares, if you didn't get from the last part. Okay, great. Now let me actually draw a line because we're talking about linear equations. In this case, we will have lines. I can have two types of lines. Let's say the first one, it will start from the third quadrant and go to the first quadrant. So it will look something like this. Great, this is the first one. And then we have a second one. What I want you to notice is this line right here, this clear line, it is increasing. Basically, it's rising from the third quadrant up until the first quadrant. It's just going like this. What if it's decreasing? How would we know? In this case, our line, it starts from the second quadrant and it basically dives to the fourth quadrant. It might look something like this. It starts from the second one and it just dives right to the fourth one. Great. And let's take a second. with this line right here. Let me draw, let's say this line. Doesn't matter too much. I'm just drawing. Maybe let me change it to this. Great. Now, this is, let's suppose it's a straight line. Um, what are solutions considered for us? Whenever our function or our line in this case intersects the y-axis or the x-axis, remember when we have only one line, this is considered our solution. So this coordinate right here and this coordinate right here will be considered our solutions. And how can we find the coordinates? As we can see, the y value is 2, right, in here. And we don't have any x value. That seems new and surprising. In this case, when our line passes the y-axis, the x value will equal to 0. So the way I would write this coordinate, it would be 0 and 2. Let's do the same thing with this. This is actually -3 in case if you cannot see it. And in this case, our line intersects the x-axis. So we do not have up or bottom. We only have left. In this case, again, it will be -3 and 0. So our height, basically, or like our y value, it will equal to 0. Now, we have specific names for these, actually. Let me go to the right part. This is another equation. And in this case, we have first intersection and we have second intersection. We have two names. The first one is basically x-intercept. Let me write it. And the second one is y-intercept. So x-intercept is whenever our y value equals to 0, and y-intercept is whenever our x value equals to 0. So let's take a look at this part. As I can see, this is touching the x-axis and it does not have up or down. So obviously the coordinate will be -12 and 0. Now, because the y value is 0 in here, -12 is considered the x coordinate or the x value basically of the x-intercept. We can do the same thing for the other part. Let's take a look at this case. In this case, it's not clearly visible, but let's just assume that this point right here is 3.5. What I can say is it's just stuck to the y-axis, right? It does not have any left or right. So our coordinate in this case will be 0 and 3.5. And because this is equal to 0, therefore I can say that this is actually y-intercept, I'm sorry, because the value of x equals to 0. I hope you understood this part. Let's get back to our lines. Now, we have specific formulas for lines. Our formula is y equals to mx plus b. Y is just our y coordinate. Imagine as if you're plugging in any number for or any value for x. Let's take, for example, this is our line, let's say, and I want to plug in 4 for x. When I plug in 4, I'm supposed to get, let's calculate it. So this is the coordinate. To the left, y equals to 4, and to the bottom, x equals to 4. So technically, when I plug in 4 instead of x, I should get 4 for y. This is how equations work. And let me explain what m is and therefore what b is. Great. So m, we call it slope. It has its own formula, m equals to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. You might be wondering what is y2, x2, and so on. All we need to do is just find two coordinates. Let's take, for example, this coordinate, and let's take this coordinate. In this case, it will be 3 and 3, and this will be 5 and 5. 5, comma 5. Great. So technically, this is x and y, right? Let me call this x1. Therefore, this will be y1. And if I call this x2, this will be y2. Now, if I plug everything in, our slope will equal to 5 minus 5 divided by 3 minus 3. Obviously, it will not be always like this. Your coordinates can be a little bit different. But in this case, our m will be 0 divided by 0. So, basically, it will, in this case, equal just to 0. And how can we find our b? Now, we actually, sometimes, we can call b So now we will talk about the equation formulas. We have one formula. It is y equals to mx plus b. Basically, y is our y value and x is our x value, right? Imagine I'm taking this dot and let's say our line passes through this coordinate. This is called the coordinate. The x value is 4 and the y value will be 3. So the coordinate is 4 and 3. When I plug in 4 instead of x, I have to get 3. This is how our functions work. Great, let me clear things a little bit. Now, let's use the same image to calculate what m is. We call m slope. And slope has its own formula. So m equals to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. You might be wondering what is y2, what is y1, and so on. Let's take this coordinate. We found that 4 and 3. We have to take second coordinate. Let's take, for example, this coordinate. X value will be 8 and the y value will be 5. So it will be 8 and 5. Let me call it, let's say this I want to call it x1. Therefore, this has to be y1. And this will be x2, so this will be y2. My slope, it will equal to 5 minus 3 divided by 8 minus 4. Basically, y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. In this case, this is 2 and this is 4. So it will be 2 over 4. And if I simplify it, divide everything by 2, I will be left with 1 over 2. This is what my m equals to. But what about the value of b? The value of b, we call it y-intercept. I will write shortly int. And you already know what y-intercept is. It's when x value equals to 0. In this image, because I drew it by hand, we cannot easily see it. That's why I will have to approximate. As I can see, the x value will be somewhere in here. It will be 0 somewhere in here. But for now, because we found our m, I can actually rewrite my function. It will be 1 over 2x plus b. Now, I can use the same method that I told you in the beginning. Let's take this coordinate. When I plug in 8, instead of x, I'm supposed to get 5 for y. Let's do it. So y equals to 1 over 2 multiplied by 8. I'm plugging in like for x plus b. And y is 5, right? It's supposed to equal to 5. And if I calculate it, 5 equals to 1 over 2 multiplied by 8, it will equal to just 4 plus b. And after this, I can say that the value of b will be, let me put it in here, and the sign is changing. Right now, it's a plus, and when I throw it to the left part, it will become negative. So b equals to 5 minus 4 or 1. This is the way you find things. Now, let me tell you one more thing. We told that, or I said that when we have one line, this is our solutions. But what if we have two or more lines? In this case, let me draw just two lines. Our solution is considered the point of intersection between our lines. So in this case, let's say that the lines intersect at this point. Approximately, they will intersect at point -1 and 1. Obviously, you cannot approximate, but because I'm drawing the image myself, I'm approximating. Otherwise, when you will solve equations, we will cover what decimals is. You will directly see the true values. I hope you also understood this part, and I think we can start solving some questions. For example, let's start by solving this question. In this case, we have coordinates. This is a table. We have x value and f of x. Now, this might seem new to you. All this is f of x equals to y. So this represents your y value. Let's say we have a function f of x equals 5x plus 2. Now, if I plug 2 instead of x, it basically puts 2 wherever it sees x. So it would put 2 in here. 5 multiplied by 2 equals 10, and 10 plus 2, it equals to 12, right? So f of x, or I'm sorry, f of 2, it actually equals to 12 because we just calculated it. And f of x is the same thing as y value. You can say that y, it also equals to 12. Let's not overcomplicate this, but yeah, this is how it works. Now, first, let's solve it by hand. We have coordinates. We have, let me write, -1, -3, and let me also take, for example, 0 and -1. We have to find our equation formula. Basically, we have to find mx plus b, we have to find m, and we have to find b. We already know how we can find m. It is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So let's call it x1, therefore it will be y1, and let's call this x2, therefore this will be y2. Great. So -1 minus -3, or -3, divided by 0 minus -1. Now, because we have two negative signs, this will just turn into a plus sign. So -1 plus 3, or this will just equal to 2, right? And the bottom part, again, negative signs, we have two of them, so they will turn into a plus. It will be 0 plus 1, or just 1. So 2 divided by 1, it obviously gives us 2. This is the value of our slope, or the value of m. Currently, we have y equals to 2m, or 2x, plus b. And how can I find the value of b? Simple. I just have to plug in the coordinates. Let's, for example, pick this one. When I plug in 0 for x, my y value should equal to -1. So -1 equals to 2 multiplied by 0 plus b. 2 multiplied by 0 gives us 0. So 0 plus b equals -1. Therefore, b will just equal to -1. And here you go. If you combine everything, y equals to 2x minus 1, we will get answer choice B. That's it, guys. Let me show you the Desmos version. Now, if you're not familiar with Desmos, I filmed a video of how you can use Desmos, like simple calculations and so on. So please make sure to check that one. There are two ways. We can write table, or we can do the same thing by just clicking this plus sign and by clicking table. In this case, this table looks something like this. All we have to do is just plug in our values. -1, -3, 0 and -1, and lastly 1 and 1. Great. We have two options. We can click this button, add regression, and it will turn it into linear regression. This will demonstrate directly our equation formula, which is again the answer choice B. But we have a second way of solving this. Uh, I will write y1 approximately sign. This is approximately sign mx1 plus b. You might be wondering, why did I write approximately sign? What is it? And why y1 and x1? Now, first of all, whenever we use the approximately sign, x and y, it gets changed to x1 and y1. You always have to write it that way. And what is this sign? Whenever we have letters that we don't know the values for example, in this case, we need to find the value of m and the value of b. I always have to write approximate sign. If I write equal sign, it will not work. Just remember it this way, and again, m equals to 2 and b equals to 1, -1, the same answer. I hope you understood this part, and let's solve another question. Let's solve, for example, this question right here. I will show you the by hand version and how you can solve it with Desmos. First of all, 5x equals to 15. I can divide both sides by 5, so x will equal to 15 divided by 5, or it will equal to 3. That's it. I can plug this 3 right here instead of x. -4 multiplied by 3 plus y equals to -2. -4 multiplied by by 3, it is -12 plus y equals to -2. And let me just throw this -12 into this part. And because I'm throwing it to the other part, this sign will change to plus sign. So y equals to -2 plus 12, or just 10. I'm asked what is the value of x plus y. X is 3, y is 10. So 10 plus 3, it equals to 13. This is the answer. Now, how you would solve it with Desmos? All we have to do is simply write everything we see. 5x equals to 15, -4x plus y equals to -2. If I zoom in, we will see, I'm sorry, I wrote with the letter z. Let me change it. Okay, we see two equations. And again, when we have two equations, the only thing we care about is their intersecting point. And their intersecting point, I can just click on it and it will demonstrate right away. So this is the x value and this is the y value. Again, 3 plus 10 equals to 13. That's it. I will demonstrate you one more question. Now, this question, you don't need it, you don't need to solve it by hand. Desmos will do everything for you. Let's just plug everything into Desmos, right? So 1 over 3 x plus 6 minus 1 over 2 x plus 6. I forgot to put the parentheses. Let me open the parentheses. Great. By the way, this curly stuff are called parentheses. And all of this equals to -8. And if I zoom out, a straight line will appear. This is our solution in this case. And if I click on it, it will demonstrate 42. So the value of x in this case, it just equals to 42. It was this simple, guys. I hope you understood linear equations, and I will be seeing you in other topics. Thank you so much for watching this lesson, and have a great day.